Georgia's Republican candidate for governor has launched an investigation into his state's Democratic Party. Kemp is locked in one of the closest governor's races in the country. He's also currently Georgia's Secretary of State. Kemp says Democrats tried to hack Georgia's voter system. Democrats say he's just trying to rile up his base. Kemp is facing off against Democrat Stacey Abrams for the governor's mansion. Recent polling has the contest in a dead heat. Jim Galloway joins me now. He's the lead writer and founder of the Political Insider blog for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Thanks so much for being with us, Jim.
No, great to be here.
So, first of all, has Kemp offered any evidence to back his claims?
No, nothing specific. The most he has said is that they have evidence in writing. However, the Georgia Democratic Party this morning gave us what we think are the majority of the emails that sparked all this, including a note to a volunteer from a fellow named Richard Wright, who attached some information indicating on how some spots in the voter registration database where it might be vulnerable. This woman passed it on to her boss, who's the voter protection unit of the Georgia Democratic Party. She passed it on to some cybersecurity experts. And from there, it also went to an attorney, David Cross, who had done some legal work on past slip-ups by the Kemp office, and then it went to the FBI, and the FBI told Brian Kemp. So it's one of those situations where you have an off-site, I don't want to say hacker, but somebody probing the strengths and weaknesses of a database system, finding a problem area, letting somebody know about it. It's generally known in the trade as a white hat effort, and in essence, Democrats are saying Brian Kemp is shooting the messenger, and in this case, the messenger has a candidate who's on the ballot on Tuesday.
So, and we'll continue to watch to see what else develops out of that. But critics, as you know, of Kemp have called for him to step down as Georgia's Secretary of State. Do you know what voters think about possible conflicts of interest? Because I think for a lot of folks, it might be surprising to hear that you have a candidate who is also at the same time in a role as Secretary of State responsible for the administration of the election itself.
It's hard to think of something like this really having a great impact on tomorrow's final votes. But what it does, I think, is it really focuses the debate in the future in Georgia on whether or not you should have a sitting Secretary of State put himself or herself up for promotion on the ballot and yet run that same election. I think this is going to spark a larger discussion.
So there have also been claims of voter suppression made against Kemp, and I wonder if any of those claims been substantiated.
Well, just last week we had we have several categories where Democrats and Stacey Abrams in particular have been fighting Kemp over the years. One of them is called the exact match system. It's a system whereby new voter registrations are matched against state driver's license database and a Social Security database. And any discrepancy, they're kicked out and placed in on hold in kind of a limbo. And last week we had a federal judge who said that the state was unfairly preventing naturalized citizens from voting. Naturalized citizens would prove that would when they registered, prove their registration, that would prove that they are indeed new citizens of the United States, and then they would be asked again and again and again to prove that. And there were some 3,000 involved there, more than 3,000.
And so let's talk about where things stand now. You have this contest with a razor-thin margin, but there is a third-party libertarian candidate, Ted Metz, who is also running. How is he affecting the race, Jim? And which candidate does he seem to be pulling voters from? Is it clear?
No, it's not clear. And well, here the first thing is The AJC put out its last poll on Thursday, and like every other poll that's been done on this gubernatorial race, it shows neither candidate getting 50% of the vote, which is the requirement for this race to be over. It's 50% plus one. Ted Metz is a libertarian candidate. In our poll, he pulled 1.6% of the support, and that's pretty thin even for a libertarian. What you've got is, what you have, Ted Metz is a fairly weak opponent. He's had to deal with cancer issues this year, and he hasn't been out on the stump as much as he probably would have wanted to, nor does he have that much money. But you also have the most polarized race in modern Georgia political history, I think. Well-financed with $100 million. And the choices that are being presented are us versus them. You know, it's a binary race, and there's been no room for a third voice in there. So it's possible. Could we have a runoff that forces the race into December? Yeah, we could have it. But right now, both candidates are saying they don't expect it to happen, and yet, each of them has they have a combined $8 million in cash on hand that can be deployed immediately.
Incredible. All right, we'll be watching closely. Jim Galloway, thanks so much, Jim.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.